Today on MHK All Day, we're going inside the midterm elections and taking a look at why so many college students are being encouraged to vote. And later, what does it take to be a high school athlete? Not only playing one sport, but multiple. Stay with us. We have this and more coming up on MHK All Day. Good morning, I'm Colby Miller and welcome to this special edition of MHK All Day. In the spirit of Halloween, we're currently on location at A&H Farms, where fall activities are at their peak. But before we get to the seasonal fun, we have a packed show for you, including the push for college students to vote on November 6th. The midterm elections are quickly approaching and advanced voting has already begun. MHK All Day's Dylan Lears fills us in on a few of the key races and why so many are pushing for college students to consider voting.
We're less than 12 days until Election Day for the 2018 midterm elections, a day that a lot of people have been waiting for. While the president will be missing from the ballot, there are a lot of state and local elections that are running at a dead heat as we finish the final stretch toward Election Day. While the midterm elections may not draw as much attention as the presidential election, there are some major Kansas races that may significantly change the makeup of Congress and determine the political party in power in the state of Kansas. For governor, Republican candidate and current Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach is up against current Kansas Democratic Senator Laura Kelly. Greg Orman has also garnered support as the independent gubernatorial candidate. Kobach has had the support of President Donald Trump, as he has personally stumped for Kobach in a rally in Topeka earlier this month. A poll released this past Tuesday from Public Policy Polling showed Kelly and Kobach not in a near tie, with both receiving 41% of the vote. Another big race is the 2nd Congressional District, where Republican Steve Watkins is going up against Democrat Paul Davis, after Lynn Jenkins decided not to run again. Kelly was on the K-State campus on Sunday, invited by the Kansas State Young Democrats. Kelly spoke out strongly against her opponent Chris Kobach, and also stressed the importance of getting young citizens out to vote.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. We know that this is going to be an incredibly close election, but it's also an incredibly critical election because the contrast is so clear between the candidates. You know, I will keep us on the road to recovery, and fix our schools, fix our roads, expand Medicaid. The young people particularly need to be engaged in this because what happens in Kansas in the future is going to impact them the most of any age group.
These seemingly close elections have really increased interest within the university, as student political groups share in the importance of college students getting out and voting.
I think both nationally and locally, the midterms are really important because obviously there's a lot of questions going back and forth about whether or not Republicans are going to maintain control of the House and the Senate, and that will change a lot.
I would say local elections are very important because, I mean, you're electing officials who are going to put those policies that are going to affect your communities into place.
Well, I think it's important that they do vote because every vote counts, but I think more so just knowing about what's going on would be more important than being registered to vote because, you know, knowing about it is more important than just being like, yeah, I'll check a box. Yeah.
I think it's really important for young people to register to vote, and then more importantly to go out and vote is because as young people we are personally affected every day, especially here on campus, because the Kansas legislature decides our tuition and they decide our higher education funding, and then our university is then allocated that money, and basically if we don't have money allocated, then that means our tuition goes up, and it really does personally affect students, and I feel like a lot of students don't understand how much of an impact they can have in elections, and hopefully that students will be able to see that this time around they can really impact change, because we are actually the 18 to 24-year-olds are the largest voting age group here in Kansas, but we're the least likely to vote, so we can really impact some change here.
Featherston said she has noticed an increase in students wanting to vote in the upcoming midterm elections.
Yeah, I really do feel like there's a lot more people registered to vote this year, especially young people, just because there's a lot more enthusiasm, and with KS votes, people, I think, are finding it's easier to register to vote. So one of the statistics that just came out from KS votes is in 2017, they were super excited to get 234 people registered to vote by the deadline, and then this year, it's been almost 10,000 people that registered, and so it is really exciting.
Riley County Clerk Rich Vargo has some advice for those planning to head out to the polls.
A great resource for anyone that would like all the detailed information. I encourage everyone to go out to our website. The Riley County website under elections has a ton of information. It has all the polling places. Matter of fact, people can look up the sample ballot. I encourage everyone who wants to participate in any election to always pull up the sample ballot. That way there's no surprises when you step into that ballot box to vote that ballot.
A reminder that Election Day is Tuesday, November 6th. In Manhattan, Dylan Lears, MHK All-Day.
Advanced voting ends at noon on November 5th. Election Day is November 6th, and polls open at 7 a.m. Coming up, not only is it Halloween season, but we are also close to giving season. Stay tuned to see how the Manhattan community is giving back to active duty military.
The K-State fabric is woven with a commitment to service, a common thread of experience and expertise, research that makes ambition a reality, student opportunities that foster empowered leaders, an environment that embraces creative collaboration. We look for moments to define ourselves as trailblazers and as advocates for advancement. Why does K-State believe it can achieve a stronger tomorrow? Promise, possibility, you. Outreach is more than a goal. It's our land-grant mission. We feed and sustain an expanding population and cultivate strong, stable families, growing responsibility and leadership in our youth through a far-reaching network of research, resources, and educators. Whether you're in Kansas or across the globe, every life is worthy of an extended hand. What makes K-State Research and Extension so powerful? Purpose, outreach.
Welcome back. The Manhattan community recently did their part in supporting active duty soldiers by feeding them and their families. MHK reporter Dallas Coronado has more.
Last Tuesday, Manhattan Town Center was host to the USO's monthly No-Do Dinner, feeding active duty military and their families for no cost.
The USO is doing a No-Do Dinner, which is to help soldiers who are kind of short on cash and just need a place to eat. So USO usually provides a dinner free for them. All they have to do is come through.
So we have a No-Do dinner once a month. Here, we're at the Manhattan Town Center. Last month we were in Junction City. Usually we're on Fort Riley base. And we've done it at Moon Lake and had barbecued ribs. Today we're having hamburgers and hot dogs.
The USO provided 400 burgers and 200 hot dogs for the military members and their families. Volunteers cooked non-stop until they ran out of daylight.
The military is a really important part of our community here in Manhattan, so we're proud to be able to bring the USO No-Do Dinner off-post, off Fort Riley installation, to the Manhattan community, where Fort Riley and the military community are such a big part of who we are in Manhattan.
All soldiers were welcome, and they didn't shy away from a free meal, especially those with large families.
It's been a big help to my family since we're a pretty large family. Me and my wife and my kids, we come out and support, talk to most of the USO volunteers and members, and a lot of them tell us, our signing in helps to fund the organization. So it's really awesome. I love it, and I think it's great for soldiers. And sometimes, they switch it up. I know one time they had nachos and cheese with a little bit of salsa on the side. It was delicious. I thought it was the best thing ever. And it's really good when you kind of, you're just on the back end of a paycheck, you paid all your bills, and you're like, hey man, I want some food.
So just how many soldiers do come to these events?
Today, it's my understanding we have more than 300 individuals who have RSVP'd that they're going to attend. And so far, it's a little bit slow, but I'm hoping it's going to pick up. We have had more than 1,000 people at a No-Do dinner, and this is only in the year plus that I've been involved. and we've had as few as about 200. And so the more we know about the people involved, the easier it is to set up and get volunteers. We can't do this without volunteers.
Volunteers for the No-Dough Dinner come from a handful of different local organizations, including the USO, Fort Riley, Corvius, and even a local hotel.
So I was supposed to work tonight until about 7, and then I'm not sure who called, but they called around, I think 4, and asked if we had some volunteers, and so I chose to come and help volunteer.
Another one of the organizations was the BOSS program at Fort Riley, Better Outcomes for Single Soldiers.
And it's just a way to outreach, give back to the community, and just get people and soldiers away from the bases to actually go out and see what's going on in their local areas. It's a lot easier to get soldiers away from the base than it is to get civilians onto the base, so it lets people mingle amongst each other and realize military is not as scary as you really think it is.
I think it's amazing. For one, it's really helpful. You see, we have 6 kids, and me and my husband, he's the only one working right now. So financially, it's a really big help. And then you get to sit out and mingle with other parents, and it's just awesome.
Did someone say prizes?
We gave away some board games that Goblin Games gave. We gave away some coupons, and as well as some additional gift cards from Maurice's, gift cards from the mall that we drew names and gave away a bunch of prizes to the folks that came. It's a way for us as Manhattan Town Center to give back to the military community. We know there are those active service members that sacrifice what they do, but there's family members too that those service members are related to. They have a sacrifice, and so this is also what we're doing here is also in supporting what they're doing, and so we really feel that those military families are important, are integral to our community and to Manhattan Town Center.
In Manhattan, I'm Dallas Coronado, MHK All Day.
For more information on the No-Dough Dinner, visit fortriley.uso.org. The fall season brings football and plenty of pumpkins. When we come back, we have more on Manhattan High School student athletes and later how you can get a pumpkin of your own and enjoy the rest of the fall season. Playing in multiple high school sports requires being able to juggle a full plate year-round. MHK All-Day reporter Jared Sleppy has more.
The Manhattan High football team has fought their way to an impressive 7-1 record this season, including a 6-1 record in their division, which puts them in a tie for first place. The Indians begin their playoff run tonight against Wichita Southeast. And as the football season is winding down, for some students, they will get the rest of the school year to focus strictly on their academics. But for others, their athletic season is just beginning. For quite a few of these football players, they will continue competing for their school and other sports. So how does Manhattan football head coach Joe Schartz approach utilizing these student athletes?
The potential for risk for injury is always there, and but you could get hurt, walk across the street. We've had several kids fall off a curb and hurt themselves. So I mean, the risk is always there, but I think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives.
Although players could get hurt during the football season, coaches like their players keeping their engines running year-round. That way, they won't be out of shape come fall.
We're all humans, and we perform better when people are counting on us. So, I like those kids to stay active and work on certain skills such as, teamwork, motivation, and being part of a team is just invaluable for their growth as individuals.
One way coaches know how their team is progressing as a collective unit is by how they interact with each other. They can see whether they are a well-oiled machine or just a bunch of individuals who happen to wear the same jersey. Coach Schartz tries to make sure that his squad is prepared to work together by holding summer workouts. This allows them to not only be ready physically, but also lets them build a chemistry amongst themselves.
We spend a lot of time in the off season in the weight room, and it doesn't matter what sport you play. You need to get in the weight room and make yourself better physically. So, I mean, that's where we come as a football team, come together as a team through the hard work in the weight room.
Now, if the Indians can continue with their winning ways tonight and find a path to the championship on November 24th, players who are also on the basketball team will have just 5 days to prepare for their first game on November 29th. As for the football players who are participating in spring sports, such as senior captain Chase McIlvain, who plays infield for the baseball team, they enjoy their time away from competing and get to unwind. However, they can't get too comfortable.
After school, we go and lift after school, and baseball will have baseball conditioning at Anthony Middle School. We'll go run in the gym, or we'll be up here and work out a little bit. You just got to work. I mean, work because this will be my last year, so I want to give it my all and compete as much as I can.
Of course, this academic year isn't all fun and games for Chase and the team. Managing time between sports, their social lives, academics, and working out is no small task. As for Chase, he plans to attend Kansas State University next fall, majoring in finance, and he's starting to prepare himself by finishing up the semester strong academically.
You use as much time as you can in class. You know, I don't really fall behind. I haven't really fallen behind at all in my 4 years. I mean, my freshman year and sophomore year I played basketball, so I played 3 sports, but I never really fell back.
Chase is unsure about his future athletically, but he hasn't been too worried and is content with his eyes set on becoming a Wildcat. And although K-State has a club baseball team, he hasn't thought about it all that much.
I mean, I can try out, but I don't know. Haven't really got any looks from any other colleges, but I haven't really reached out that much. In the summer, I play with the Barn Baseball Academy, which is based out of Manhattan, and they have a lot of kids from the surrounding areas, but I haven't really been looked at that much.
Other students, such as Isaiah Childs, a junior at Manhattan High who runs track, compete throughout the entire school year. For Isaiah, off-season is fictional, and although he doesn't run track for his school during the winter, he still competes individually through the winter months.
For some people, it's rest. Mainly for me, I do indoor track with my AAU team, so it's a lot of work during the winter, mainly during December and November. So we have nationals during January, and so during that whole time, it's a bunch of work to get your times in, drop times where you want them to be, eating healthy and getting your body right for all your events that you're doing.
Right now, this team is trying to get rid of any distractions and get focused on winning their first playoff game. The Indians are taking on the Golden Buffaloes from Wichita Southeast, who come into tonight's game just 2-6 on the season. Should the Indians win, they would face the winner of Wichita East and Wichita West on November 2nd. From Manhattan, I'm Jared Sleppy, MHK All Day.
Thanks, Jared, for the story. We'll be right back. There are tons of fall activities available in Manhattan during this time of year. And here at A&H Farms and over at Britt's Farm, you can find activities from pumpkin picking to corn mazes. Coming up after the break, we're going behind the scenes to see how these pumpkin patches operate. Crisp air and colorful leaves usher in the season of autumn. Residents of Manhattan have taken notice and now flock to fall activities. A fan favorite for many, taking a stroll down to the pumpkin patch.
Oh, every fall. I love having the kids come out and learning about the farm. Our farm is a working farm, so we're doing this year-round. And then as an added bonus, we have the Fall Festival going on, so kids can come out and see the farm, see what farm life is like, and get a little bit of a slice of it.
The farm is operated by a passionate group of people hoping to sprinkle some farm education and knowledge seeds into the fun festivities.
We run the farm year-round. We do livestock. We have our petting zoo here. We have You Pick strawberries as well in the spring and other festivals. But it's really important, I think, for kids to come out and enjoy the activities.
These farms boast many attractions that provide fun for the whole family. Aside from picking out the biggest, roundest, or bumpiest pumpkin in the whole patch, these families can engage in any number of activities during their visits.
We have a corn maze, we have a petting zoo, the train ride, the zip line you probably hear in the background here, and then we have our giant slide that kids will spend hours on it. So it's a great way for them to come out and get some exercise, and they don't even realize they're getting exercise. But we have a hay rack ride and takes you out to our big pumpkin patch where you can pick giant pumpkins off the vines or little tiny ones. There's some for all kids. But we have a corn pit that we started years ago, and we bury treasure in it, and kids will spend hours looking for the treasure in it. So all kinds of fun things that are farm things that we've turned into activities that kids can enjoy.
A&H Farms is a popular stop for family fun. Guests are greeted by a large slide for kids to ride down as soon as they enter the farm. For more excitement, kids can also choose to ride the zip line. Fun cutout boards stand watch, ready for a portrait or two to be taken.
It's fun working here. You get to see so many things that I don't get to see when I live in the city. I didn't grow up on a farm, so this is all a lot of fun out here. And you get to meet a lot of new people and see a lot of people that are coming out to the farms for the first time. So it's a lot of fun.
Why do these farms operate? What is their goal? Perhaps pumpkins and fun aren't the only things in supply.
One of the things that I think is very important is kids don't understand that all their food comes from a farm, whether it's processed or they grow it themselves, it comes from somebody growing it. So one of the things that we like to teach them here on the farm is that corn, we grow it here, it goes into your food, you use it in everyday life, it's fed to the animals, so you have fun playing in the corn pit, you run through the corn maze, but it has many, many uses.
If a pumpkin is your mission, hop onto the back of a tractor and prepare to take a bumpy ride down to the patch. From here, people of all ages can pick out their favorite pumpkin. Be careful of spooky, soon-to-be jack-o'-lanterns.
What work it goes into putting stuff on like this, and especially in the mornings. In the evenings after this is all gone, there's a lot of work that goes into this.
Britt's Farm is another popular spot for fall fun. With many different games and attractions, this patch also invites attendees to pick out pumpkins and have a memorable afternoon.
There's a lot of, before Pumpkin Patch ever starts, we start months before planning what we're going to do, and we come out here and have to put this stuff together, like the picture places and everything, multiple times to see if that's where we want to go. We have to paint all these things, build everything, make sure it's put up just right, and then every time it rains, we're out here early in the morning, drying stuff off, making sure it's clean. Trying to make it the cleanest farm we could possibly have. It's not very easy to make a farm clean.
Sometimes working at a farm isn't all fun and games. There is always a lot of work to do, especially on some of these area farms.
If you haven't been to the farm, come out and see it. It's a lot of fun. A lot of people don't know what it's like, and lots of baby animals. That's great. Everybody loves baby animals.
From twisting corn mazes to fun, bouncy attractions, all the way to pumpkin hunting, there's always something new to find.
Seeing kids coming out of farm for the first time is a lot of fun.
Check out a pumpkin patch for your next fall activity.
We hope you come out. It's beautiful weather this weekend and going to be a great time out here.
In Manhattan, Colby Miller. We've been live from A&H Farms. Thanks for tuning in this week. We'll see you next time.